Hello and welcome to Ever Growing. Today, we're talking about a pervasive and often overlooked threat, microplastic. Microplastics, as the name implies, are tiny plastic particles. Officially, they are defined as plastics less than 5 millimeters or 0.2 inches in diameter. These tiny particles can be found everywhere, from the deepest ocean to the highest mountains, and they are causing big problems. Microplastics come in two categories, primary and secondary. Primary microplastics are intentionally manufactured to be small. They include tiny particles designed for commercial use, such as in cosmetics, and microfibers shed from clothing and textile like fishing nets. On the other hand, secondary microplastics are particles that result from the breakdown of larger plastic items, such as water bottles. This breakdown occurs due to environmental factors like the sun's radiation and ocean waves. Microplastics are not biodegradable, meaning they persist in the environment indefinitely. Once they enter ecosystems, both primary and secondary microplastics accumulate. They have been found in a variety of environments, including oceans and freshwater systems. In the early 21st century, it was estimated that 4 to 14 million tons of plastic pollution entered the oceans each year. Microplastics are contribute to air pollution, appearing in dust and airborne particles. Let's talk about the prevalence of microplastics. The most common types are fragments. These form when larger plastic break into small pieces and account for about 22% of marine microplastics. Paint particles. These come from surfaces shedding paint flakes or being sandblasted. A 2022 report indicates that synthetic paint may be the largest source of aquatic microplastics, with an estimated 2.9 million tons entering aquatic environments yearly. Films. These originate from thin, flexible plastic like grocery or chip bags and are commonly found on land. Noodles, also known as pre-production plastic pellets. This tiny plastic often spill into the environment during manufacturing and transportation. Microbeads. These are manufactured plastic beads less than 1 millimeter in size used in personal care products like face wash and toothpaste. Tire wear particles. Created by the friction between tires and road, these are a common source of microplastic in coastal water such as those of California. They are known to reduce the survival rate of some fish hatchlings and cause deformities in embryos. Microfibers. These come from clothing, home fabrics, personal care products, fishing nets, and more. Microplastics are small, lightweight, and sometimes airborne. They move through air, freshwater, land, animals, humans, and marine environment, forming a global microplastic cycle. The concentration of microplastic in the world ocean ranges significantly, with the highest main concentration found in Atlantic Ocean. Microplastics have been found in every marine habitat where scientists have looked. In global ocean, 34.8% of microplastics come from synthetic fabrics, while 28.3% are generated by tire friction. These particles are small, lightweight, and sometimes airborne, allowing them to move between air, water, and land, creating a global cycle. Recent studies have shown that microplastics are present in our daily lives in more ways than we may think. They have been found in tap water, bottled water, and even commonly consumed beverages like beer and even salt. A 2020 study in Italy found microplastics in everyday fruits and vegetables. It appears that plants can absorb microplastics from soil and livestock can ingest them from feed, water, or air, leading to contamination of meat products. How do these microplastics enter the human body? Microplastics are in our drinking water, whether from the tap or bottled. They can enter water sources during treatment and distribution or from the packaging of bottled water. In vans, might face particularly high exposure levels. A small study found that infants had more microplastic particles in their feces than adults did. Research suggests that microplastic can enter even the fetus via the placenta and can be ingested by babies through breast milk, plastic feeding bottles, and teething toys. Airborne microplastic particles are another concern. Research in Paris found indoor air concentration ranging from 3 to 15 particles per cubic meter, while outdoor concentrations were much lower. During meals, exposure to microplastic fibers from the air can be higher than from the food itself. What are the potential health risks? Studies in mice suggest that microplastics are far from benign. Lab exposure to microplastics can disrupt gut microbiomes, lead to inflammation, lower sperm quality, and testosterone levels, and negatively affect learning and memory. Research by immunologist Barbara Melgert found that nylon microfiber could reduce the number and size of airways in human lung tissue by up to 67% and 50% irrespectively. The chemicals released from these fibers rather than the fibers themselves were the cause. Microplastics are considered a form of air pollution. Air pollution particles tend to induce stress in our lung, and microplastics likely have a similar effect. Research suggests that immune cells don't recognize clean microplastic particles, but do respond to those with blood proteins, viruses, or bacteria attached, potentially triggering a strong inflammatory reaction or exacerbating existing inflammatory diseases. Some chemicals added to plastic are also harmful. Bisphenol A or BPA, used to harden plastic, is a known endocrine disruptor linked to developmental effects in children and reproductive and metabolic problems in adults. Phthalates, which make plastic soft and flexible, are associated with adverse effects on fetal development and reproductive issues in adults. Flame retardant in electronics are linked to endocrine, reproductive, and behavioral effects. That's all for today's episode of Ever-Growing. Microplastics are a pervasive and growing problem with significant environmental and health implications. Understanding their impact is the first step toward mitigating their presence in our world. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next time as we continue to explore an ever-changing landscape of our environment. Until then, stay informed and stay green.